What's up, guys? It's Levi. I am really excited for these next videos coming up because we're going to be doing some good winter exercises, and that way we keep you and your horse motivated and inspired, and that way we don't get bored. Before we move on, if you could hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos, and also like us on Facebook. We'd appreciate that. And if you'd have a question, feel free to email us, beachyhorsemanship@yahoo.com, and we might use your question for the next video. Let's get right to it. This is Moxie. She's 6 years old. I'm going to use her as our guinea pig today. And what we're going to be working on today is the hip exercise. And we're going to be working on lateral flexion, giving to the bridle when I pick up and pull here, and just moving that hip around and get our horse really loosened up. And I'll be talking about a little bit the why behind it, and it's really good stuff, and we're going to have more of this stuff coming up. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use my inside leg and inside rein, and when I'm doing this exercise, it's only going to be one rein at a time. If you're working to the left, use the left rein. If you're working to the right, use the right rein. And remember, we're pushing the hip around, so that's what we're going to be working on. So I'm going to push to the left, and I'm going to push that hip around. I love it. And what I'm looking for, that my horse gives me that low, quiet head. And when that head's up and they're fighting that a little bit, that means they're resisting to the pressure. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it means I need to do this more to get my horse to honor that pressure on the bridle. So real quick too, if your horse doesn't know this stuff, and let's say your horse has never done it, you're probably going to want to put a snaffle bit on him, because a shank bit's probably not going to work. So if you use a snaffle bit, that's perfect. It's more like a side pull when you pick up on it. If your horse is all used to this stuff, pulling on him and what have you, a shank bit's going to be just fine, because it's really nothing new for your horse. However, you might just get him softened up more, what we're going to be working on. And I want this at a walk first, or at a standstill pretty much, where I push them hips around, and you're going to see the front end isn't going to be moving much at all. And I love, like, Mox's head really wanting to get down. That's very nice. So now she's doing it at a stop. You could practically tell her left front foot barely left that spot. So now I want to do it moving. Once my horse is good with that, first I want him to be able to do that standing and barely move that front end. Now I want to do it walking. So I'm going to walk around. I'm going to pick up on that inside rein right here, pick up, and then put my left leg on and push them hips around and stay moving. I want my horse to stay moving out. So she thought we were going to stop. I just push her back out. And if you notice, I'm going to keep my reins pretty loose unless I'm pulling that inside rein. Pick up and push out. Pick up and push out. Very nice. And it just really, it gets that horse up underneath himself, and they learn how to use their legs and body and stay balanced proper. Love these exercises. And remember, don't move on until you get the first one good. So I already showed you the first one, the step one. And then step two is stay moving and keep your horse moving out, pushing them hips out. And I got my inside leg on her. And it just pushes them hips around. It really teaches her what to do with them legs. Now, we got step one, step two. We got that done. I'm going to walk through it real quick again. Step one is where I shut that front end right down. You're going to see that left leg pretty well dig a hole. Just going to step her around. That's step one. And then step two is moving. If you have to write this stuff down, I want you to. Step two is walking and pushing the hips out. Very nice. You see your back feet stepping over. And step three, guess what that is? Start trotting. Now, I want to make sure before you do all of this stuff that you get step one really good, and then you get step two really good, and then you get step three good. And I want all this stuff down before you move on. Don't just get a sloppy turnaround before you do it. I want you to get it really good before you move on. Slow and right always beats fast and ugly. So if it's ugly, stay doing it. Stay doing it. Get it to where it's good. And also what I do is I get what I need Push her around, get a couple good steps, and then let her walk out about 4 or 5 steps. And then do a couple good steps of her moving her hips around, and then let her walk out 4 or 5 steps. That way you're giving her a break before you do it again. Be very intentional what you're doing. I want you to really think about it. And remember, step 1, you're digging a hole. Be very intentional. Don't let her walk around. I want her to stay in that hole because it's about the control thing, exactly what you're asking. So we're going to move on into step 3. So when I pick up, we're going to start trotting. Very nice. So I'm going to pick up on that inside rein. I'll wait till I come around so the camera can see it. I'm going to pick up right here and push them hips out. Push them hips out. Very nice. And remember, I want to stay trotting now. We build up to the trot. I want to stay trotting. Pick up. Push them hips out. Very nice. Keep that trot going. And if they break down into a walk, that's fine too. You just build them back up again. And remember, if they're not bending that head very nice like Moxie is here, I want you to work harder on that. Get that head nice and soft. And if they're resisting, if their head's up and they're stiff, that means you need to stay working on that. Remember, trot out about 4 or 5 steps, and then do it again for a couple steps. Push them hips around like 2 or 3 steps, and then trot out again. And just continue that till your horse is really, like they totally know what's coming next because we've done it so long. Don't just do it a couple times and think that my horse is good now. I want you to work it, and your horse knows it. Like it's not a surprise anymore. And when you do it so often, like I said, it's not a surprise. Your horse is used to it now and they know what it means. And I can push them hips out and stay trotting. I love that. And boy, that just really sets your horse up for good balance. Good. I'll let her slow down a little bit. Very nice. And you could see Moxie, she never resisted at one time with that bridle. When I picked up and pulled, and if your horse has never done that, they're going to resist that bridle. You pick up and pull, their neck's going to freeze up, their body is going to be stiff as a 2x4. That's okay. You just stay working it, and remember, you're going to have to start slow. You can't start at step 3. Start at step 1. That means you're going to stand, you're going to stop and push them hips around. Now, if they walk around, just take that inside rein and bump that face to the inside. That's going to shut the front end down. And then she shuts that front end down, and she moves the hips a little, let her go. And then 4 or 5 steps later, do it again. Don't go the whole length of the arena before you do it again because that's too long. She's going to forget what you're working on. But do it a couple steps later, do it again. And if you can't see if your horse is doing it, you need somebody, another set of eyes to tell you like, yep, your horse did it or your horse didn't do it. So I really want you to be very black and white. If you don't quite feel it, get some help. And if you can't feel it at all or your help can't feel it, that means you need to go get help to kind of start getting a feel down to a professional or somebody that knows how that exercise feels. So, and that's not a bad thing either because it's about the horse to teach. When we're riding our horse, we are the teacher. So we want to be very intentional. And everything we do is on purpose to get our horse the best school, if you will, that your horse is in. And that because you're the teacher and he's in a school. So I really want to make sure we get that down because it's not fair to the horse if we don't know what we're doing and we just kind of blow through them. So that's what we're looking for. So recap one more time. Step 1. Digging a hole. Very nice. And again, if you have to write that stuff down, write it down. Step 2 is moving forward and pushing the hips out. Moving forward and pushing the hips out. Very good. Step 3, you guessed it, trot. Move my horse out. Pick up. Inside rein, inside leg. So here she struggled a little. So I'm going to, there we go. She kind of dropped that shoulder a little bit and caused her to shut down. That's all right. Pick up again, push them hips out. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Good, we'll let her slow down again. So we'll talk a little bit about positioning too. When I pick my rein up on my inside hand, I'm going to kind of pull towards her hip bone. So that's kind of where I'll be looking, and my leg is pretty much just straight in. If anything, just put it back a couple inches, but not much at all. And remember, when you get this side done, do the same on the other side. And this might take, you know, 2 or 3 sessions before you start on this side. And that's okay. And that's okay. So I wish you luck with it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you know somebody, that horse, you know, that a friend or somebody that's looking for exercises and stuff, feel free to share the video. We definitely appreciate that. And again, I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, if you've got a question, feel free to email us, beachyhorsemanship@yahoo.com, and we might just use your question for the next video. Thanks again for watching.